All right, Lady Ada, what is this?
Hey, everybody, and welcome to the show and tell at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. And that means it's time to check in with the community around the world over video camera. This is going to be like the best Zoom you can do because instead of doing meeting reports, we're going to share our project. What are we working on, hacking on, 3D printing, sewing, and crafting? We want to know. We got some updates from Digikey coming up, and then a bunch of Adafruit folks, including special guest Ingrid. All right, Kevin, why don't you kick it off? Tell us the news from the Great North.
Today is a good day to be an employee of Digikey. So every year we usually have a big holiday dinner, and everybody gets together, and we have a nice meal. Everyone knows what's going on. Couldn't happen this year. So what they did is they said, "Oh, come pick up. We have something for you. Come pick it up." And not knowing what it was, if I would have known, I would have actually set up a GoPro on the hood of my pickup because it was really cool. We got to drive into the new building, the new huge warehouse, and they had this whole area set up with like Christmas lights and decorations, and they gave us our Digikey currency, which is Digibucks.
Right.
Yeah, you can spend that all over Thief River Falls.
We have our own currency, so they're trying to get everybody to shop local, invest in the community, which is something they've always done, which is great. Yeah. And, this is just a $10 one, but that was really cool. And I got to see a little bit of the inside of the new building by actually driving through it.
It's big enough you can just drive in.
Yeah. Like I said, I wasn't expecting it. We had the VP of HR, Shane. You guys have all met Shane.
Yeah, I met Shane.
He was in there greeting everybody, and, everyone was all masked up and socially distanced, but it was really cool. It was a lot of fun. And then I do have, speaking of projects, it is show and tell, so I do want to show a project. I'm going to switch my camera really quick.
Hi, sorry.
So, there.
The cat. Oh, all right. So there at your desk.
All right, what else you got going on?
All right, so I have the MagTag set up right here. Can you see it?
Yeah.
And it's set up with lights around my monitor.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
And I am working on, I started getting it done. I didn't have enough time today to finish, but I do want to do this over Adafruit IO. So there's different cycles. There's a little blink one, so it's changing all the colors to red. And then the chase comet one, it's chasing all the way around. And then just turn it off.
Great.
I love this MagTag, and like I said, I want to incorporate some of the wireless elements to it, which is my next project.
Okay. So you have Wi-Fi.
I'll just stand like this.
All right. Outstanding on-brand colors across the entire workshop setup.
I like how you have those, are those real boards taped to your wall? Or are they?
Yes, they are.
Okay.
So they are a whole bunch of boards up there.
All right. Well, you can always get them when you need them.
And I have too. I'm surprised there's not one taken down because I do need them often.
And Kevin mentioned Shane before, so their head of HR, we call ours employee resources. We did an actual live broadcast, and we talked about running electronic companies, taking good care of your people and everything. Check out our YouTube channel and check out that previous interview. And then one thing, we call them hug reports instead of bug reports. Hug report. One of the things that we've known about Digikey for almost 10 years now is they do this local spending thing that Kevin was talking about, where you're spending Digibucks. And, this was before the pandemic. This before everyone said, hey, shop local. Companies that want to do things like this, it's not impossible. There's been companies doing things like this for a while. So anyways, it's really neat. And this is something that Digikey's been doing for a really long time. So kudos on Digikey for supporting their local economy.
Yeah, it is. They're always willing to invest in the community, and everybody knows everybody around here. So it's pretty cool. And just to be able to get out of the house and at least see some of those people, it was a really good day.
Right on. Okay, well, thank you so much, Kevin.
All right, thank
you. And please send our regards to everyone at Digikey, and don't spend those Digibucks in all in one place.
I absolutely will.
All right.
I'm sure there's some delicious baked goods available there.
Next up, Ingrid. Hello.
Hi, Ingrid.
What you got?
Hello.
What's going on?
Hi.
So I'm a knitter as my main craft project. And so, wanted to do an Adafruit project. So took a flexible strand NeoPixel wire and wove it into this scarf.
Cool.
So just kind of as plain knitting, but just wove the wire every few stitches. And then I if you could see it because it's all black, but I did a little pocket.
Uh-huh.
Put a little button on there, 3D printed button, of course.
Ooh, fancy.
And got the little electronics in there.
Okay.
So, yeah, just pretty simple project, but it's been a lot of fun. And
I like how it looks like a star field. Like it's got this light. It's like dark, and then you've got this sparkly light in it. I like that. It's not overwhelming. It's casual, but also a little like fancy. You can wear it out, almost anywhere.
Yeah, it's definitely a conversation piece, and be nice if I was actually going out and socializing with people at night. But so next year.
But even if you go out, it's like really dark out so early. So even if you go out just to the grocery store, people can see you. So that's kind of good. It's a safety scarf as well as a fashionable scarf.
I think it's perfect Zoom wear, which is anything from here up now.
Yes.
Is like this is Zoom couture, I guess is the
Zoom couture.
Yeah, is a proper term.
All right. Well, it looks amazing. Congratulations on your knitting project. I used to love to crochet. That was what I would do with my hands.
Yeah, it's a good while you're on Zoom project.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. You can do it below that. Nobody has to know you're knitting or crocheting. All right.
All right. Thanks so much, Ingrid.
Thank you, Ingrid.
All right. Next up, JP. What time is it?
Well, I'll tell you what time it is. I'm currently streaming show and tell until 1700 hours Pacific time is what time it is. So this is a
how's this possible?
Upcoming project that I'm working on, and it's a MagTag, which is using a set of currently just a sort of a dictionary of show times and BMP files to look at, but I'm going to JSONify that so that we have a nice JSON file to look at. And it's used to tell you when your next show is going to be on Adafruit. Of course, someone could adapt this to any sort of preset calendar type of thing that they have happening a lot. But what I've got right now is telling me that right now we've got show and tell, and then what time the next show is going to start. And then after that, it will let us know, okay, next show will be JP's workshop tomorrow in 18 hours or whatever it is. Yeah. So kind of handy and very dandy.
What I like about this is we were trying about how to do like a Google Calendar tie-in with MagTag, and it's actually like really hard to get Google Calendar data. And then I realized, most people have the same things going on every week. So maybe it just gets the internet time, and then sleeps in between events and shows you. I mean, like show and tells at the same time every week. You don't need to go out to a Google Calendar to know. We've been doing this for a decade. So yeah, it was a cute little hack. But I think for me, like I'm going to set this up to show up like my events, like my weekly events and meetings, and it beeps when the event starts and reminds me.
Yeah, a little heads up that something's happening in case you've been not paying attention. And it also, I believe it's currently doing a deep sleep, and then it tells itself to wake up like in enough time before the next event to check the time and make sure the internal time was okay. So it should be something that we can use on battery power on a, just stuck to a metal surface somewhere convenient. And
set it up. Have that be it'll be useful for you.
Yep, for sure. No, this is a really good one.
Right there's certain things that people watch live now. Live is special. You can do things like we do, have a chat, have a community, all come together, do live broadcasts. And so I think for something like that, it's special. You can put your own enclosure in it. There's always replays of things. Replays aren't as interesting because you can always watch them later. But this is kind of cool.
All right. Right now.
Thanks so much, JP.
All right, thanks, JP.
All right, yeah, I'll see you all tomorrow with this project.
On tomorrow's show.
Right on. Okay, next up, let's go to Knowing Pedro. Knowing Pedro, what do you got going on this week?
Yeah, so for this week, let's take a look at the screen. This is this week's project. It's a collab project with Liz. She'll talk a little bit more about it. But yeah, check it out. The guide went up today. But I wanted to share some kind of prototype pieces that just came off the printer. So we started working on a new project. This is going to be a 3D printed prop of the dark saber from Star Wars. So here I have the emitter, this I guess guard, and then like a bit of a coupler here. So I'm printing the handle right now. So these pieces kind of snap fit together, and then they're secured with a single screw and a cabinet on the inside. So we'll have the wires pass through there. But that's the first piece that we got going on. And then for CAD stuff, I wanted to kind of share. Let's do our entire screen. We'll do a little tunnel mode for a second, and then jump into CAD land. So here's sort of the whole build. For the blade, we're planning to make it out of a couple pieces of acrylic, and then really all the meat, all the guts are inside the handle. So here's kind of a cross section view of it. For the feather, we're using the feather sense. So that has the built-in accelerometer. So we can do that. And I have this funky looking mounting piece that slides in. So the next pieces are to make some mounting brackets for our little battery here and the stemma speaker. And then the RGB button is going to get panel mounted to the side here. So that's kind of a quick look at it. I think I have another thing.
So the model was that you said it was a collaboration. Somebody drew up a model.
Yeah, so huge shout out to Huawei, who posted a lot of screenshots of his build. So I kind of referenced his design and just recreated it all in Fusion 360. So he used a resin 3D printer. So we're making it so that it prints with no supports, and it's more for the FDM style printers.
That's so great. I'm so excited because it's like this is.
I am too.
I love how the community can go so fast.
Yeah, for sure. So there's lots of great reference images now, and it's just we're starting to see more and more of it. So it's a really good time. So this is kind of the feather mount that we were looking at in CAD land. So it came out pretty good. We got some standoffs in there, and of course we'll have access to the USB port. So I'll have that little pommel piece. It'll just come out. It'll just kind of pop out there, and that's the start of it. So I thought I'd show the progress. But for next week, we'll have this guy here in the back. We'll have a layer guide for that, which is an IoT sign that we'll have outdoors on all year round kind of thing.
Okay.
And tonight on Ask an Engineer, we're going to briefly talk about how ILM uses Adafruit stuff in their props and more. So if you're watching Noah and Pedro's show and tell right now, or if you're watching 3D Hangouts and wondering, could this stuff be used, or will it be used, or is it used in things like The Mandalorian?
It's already being used.
Yes, it's straight up, and they can choose anything. They have all the money in the world, literally. And they just don't have a lot of time, so they have to pick the best stuff that's most documented, and they choose Adafruit stuff. So we'll talk about that tonight.
Sweet. All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks so much. All right, next up, I'm going to remove that because that's done. Is Paint Your Dragon. Paint Your Dragon, what you got going on this week?
Hello there. I'm getting all fancy. I got screen and camera going.
Yes.
So I have two MagTags here, luxurious, two of them. And there's displaying two lists, a naughty and a nice list. And over here in this window, I have a Google spreadsheet, cloud-based stuff. And I have a list of naughty people and nice people on this list. And one gets from one to the other. I could add some folks here.
Or it could be for me.
No,
You know, this Bob guy, he kicked a dog, and I kind of draw the line there. So he moved over to the naughty list.
Yeah.
Okay.
So in theory, if I tell those boards to go resync with the cloud live demo, who knows if this will work, but we'll be patient for a moment. We should get updated lists there. While we wait, interesting thing with the Google spreadsheets is you can have multiple people editing them at the same time.
Yeah.
So Santa and Krampus, they could be, jamming on this spreadsheet together. There we go. We got new lists with the new information.
This is amazing.
Yeah, so we got lots of people on the naughty list now. So Krampus will eat well. He doesn't have to stop and go get a McRib, during the night. He's well fed now. So I'm working on that, and I should have a guide soon. I didn't mention these are running the same code. There's just a selection in there where you say, hey, I want this column or I want this column.
I like the naughty and nice font actually.
And
That's
I'm going to just spend a second on this, but this is, one of those times where I kind of wish we did a show called like Iron Engineering or something like that, like Iron Chef, because this project would be so hard doing it any other way. But because we built CircuitPython to be so easy, if you can do a Google Sheet, which is like practically mandatory for operating in society now. If you can make a Google Sheet, you can have an online IoT data source for a Wi-Fi connected e-ink display and do this in a matter of minutes.
Yeah, I've been writing the guide for a couple days, and then it's like, okay, but I have to make the code, and the code took like 30 minutes, even with the fancy fonts and everything.
Even with the fancy fonts. Yeah, Matt, we get to talk about fonts and stuff like that. Like,
yeah, it was the explanation that took all the time, but the writing the code was a breeze.
I like that you used also your cursive fonts. You like the cursive font. This is a pretty
yeah, they're Christmas lists. You have to have,
And again, like I'll just say it. So if you're doing anything with microcontrollers, do you ever get to like, I wonder what cool font I'm going to use? No, it always looks terrible. It's like, it'll look, it's always like the crummy font that's off to the side. And it's like, oh yeah, like Java applet style. Cool.
Yeah,
anyways.
and you got like this font is centered. Yeah, you can do all sorts of cool stuff for Python.
That's my opinion.
Good stuff.
Okay. Well, thanks so much for
have a guide in a couple days, I think, and explain how to do this. And I'll have other projects as well. This is just one example of what you could do with this.
Well, Blink is on the nice list. I think you did a good job taking the we're like, oh, you can turn Google spreadsheets into JSONs, and you're like, I'm gonna do this fun project to you. You give it your flair. You should be on the nice side.
I think that was me. Okay. Next up, Dan. Speaking of CircuitPython stuff, Dan, what do you got going on?
All right, so this is more deep sleep fun. One thing that people wanted for deep sleep is when you go to deep sleep, you want to remember something, like maybe a count of how many times you've done something or the last reading or something like that. And so what do? Deep sleep makes your board completely reset, and so the regular RAM goes away because it would use too much power to hold the regular RAM, hold the stuff that's in regular RAM. So that has to go away. But it turns out that for nearly all microcontrollers, there's a small amount of, usually it's called backup RAM or something, which is designed to be used during some kind of really low power sleep mode. So in the ESP32S2, there's backup RAM, and you get 8 kilobytes of backup RAM, and it only takes like 5 microamps to remember to leave that on. So I just added some stuff, just finished it a few minutes before this, to be able to use the backup RAM to store stuff. Now, if you pull the battery out, you'd lose it, but usually the battery is going to be okay. So if you wrote this stuff to flash, you wear out the flash eventually. But if you use RAM, you're not going to wear that out. So what this little demo program is doing is just every few seconds, it increments a count, and it's also reading the battery voltage to do something interesting. So we see that it's changing. It's 69, and it should change and go to 70. There we go. And I just got this working. It seems to be actually a little bit odd, and I think somebody else might be trying to use this backup RAM, so I have to make sure that nobody else is using it. But mostly it seems to be staying the same. And so you'll be able to have your deep sleep programs remember stuff in between sleeping. Like you write a little notepad next to the bed and you go to sleep and then you wake up and you look at the notepad again. That's what's going on here.
That's cool.
Very cool.
Okay.
Right, very handy. Yeah, deep sleep, it's like there's all these little pieces and details that go with it that make it complicated, but we're getting to all of them.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, the timing deep sleep has been great. So
terrific. Yeah.
More on the way. All right, thank you, Dan.
All right, you're welcome. Okay,
go take a nap.
All right, next up, Scott, what you got cooking this week?
Well, let's see if it works, shall we? I also have been working on sleep, and I may have confused it. So what I've got is I've got a code.py here that has the error message is old, so don't worry about that. But what I have here is when the red lights are on the first time, it's waiting for me to press a button. So if I press the button, it should go into another sleep with the lights off. So that should be theoretically a deep sleep based on pin level. And then if I hit it again, it wakes up and it's in the code.py again. So if I hit it again, it should go down. So I've been working on waking up from sleep by checking a pins level, which is useful for buttons and also external sensors. And that went better than I expected.
Great demo. So
look, I literally just loaded that code on there.
We have a refrigerator magnet. We have a refrigerator magnet, a MagTag, and it'd be cool to have it set up so when you just go by and you want to do a refresh, you just hit the button, it wakes up from deep sleep, does its stuff, and then displays. So you'd use it for that.
Yeah, because right now we have really good deep sleep for a certain amount of time. So you can sleep for an hour or a day, and then you can calculate like wake up next 8 p.m. or at midnight to do something
Yeah.
like, get the weather, get like, whatever statistic, or like we have the tides project. But then this is handy for like when you press the button, it refreshes, but it's not a full reset. It could be from light sleep, and it can also use that NVM RAM that Dan just showed off. Good sleeping.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be cool. I'm excited. I mean, very impressed that it went that far. But
All right.
Okay.
Thanks so much.
fixing some crashes and stuff along the way too, which is good.
And you have a deep dive this week. Are you going to do?
Yeah, doing it on Friday. I
All
think
right.
next week will probably be Thursday, and then that may be the last one before the new year.
Okay.
Got it. All right. So if folks want to learn more about this, check out Scott's deep dive on all of our social channels.
Yep.
This Friday.
Yeah, and this is probably what I'll talk about
Yes.
most of the time.
Sleepy
Cool.
time.
All right. Next up, Liz.
Hey, Liz.
You're using, I think, some deep sleep type stuff on some of your projects.
Yeah,
Yes.
Blinkies.
So as I mentioned, we did this kind of Christmas countdown this week. So it's a little tree bitmap, and it does use deep sleep. Right now it's set to wake up every 12 hours, but actually someone already put in a pull request to have it wake up at midnight, which I
Ooh.
think works a little better. So we're going to test that overnight, and if it works, then it'll be good to go. But I just want to talk quickly. I have these little kind of blinky boards, and what's special about them is the first time I used reflow, and I actually did it with an easy bake oven that you would just buy at a box store,
Cool.
unmodified, and I used the low temp maker paste that you guys have in the shop, and it worked beautifully. So I kind of wanted to mention it in case folks have wanted to try reflow but haven't necessarily had like a fully modified like oven or concerned about hot air and things. So
That's awesome. And does it like have like the bulb in it and everything?
So the what's interesting is the old Easy Bake Ovens had the bulb, but then when the US put in those new energy efficient light bulb standards, they couldn't use the bulb anymore. So now it's actually like a proper oven, and it gets up to about like 350, 375 degrees Fahrenheit.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Yeah, hot enough.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Yeah, for the low temp paste, sounds great. All right, nice
All
work.
right. Thank you so much, Liz.
no problem. Have a good one.
Thank you, Liz.
All right. Next up, we're going to go to Travis the Maker, and then we're going to go to Jeremy, then Tinkering Tech, and then Mark. So if everyone keeps it to like minute-ish, which is about what we usually do, we'll be able to get to everyone. Travis.
Hey, Travis.
Take it
Welcome.
away.
Cool. Hello. Yes, so I will be very brief. I joined a makerspace a few years ago here in Boston, and I got to learn how to solder. And so it was a little clock kit, and I really enjoyed that experience. And I've learned a bunch of stuff in the last few years, but really haven't given back to the community. So I've been working on a DIY keyboard kit.
Oh, nice.
Where I've learned way too much about the keyboard community, very fascinating community. And yeah, so I built this kit, and this is about where it's at right now. I have tons of prototypes. I actually have a laser cutter in the mail right now to start adding enclosures and stuff because it's a little bit bare bones right now. But yeah, a great way to learn how to solder and code, and then I want to get back and not just consume everything, but share with others. So,
Okay.
so yeah.
Right on.
Always good.
When and where will these be available for people to get?
I'm finalizing the Kickstarter right now. Probably going to launch it. I learned that December is a bad month for Kickstarter, so probably in January. I'm in the Discord, so I can pop a link in there as well.
Yeah, please do. And we don't cover Kickstarters all the time, but if folks come on our show and tell, and they're doing something like giving back to the community, we absolutely will spotlight your Kickstarter. So just drop me a note, pt@adafruit.com when you're ready to promo it, and we'll help get the word out.
Awesome. And one last bit, actually, I forgot to add is it's not soldered in, but the next prototype I'm using the Itsy Bitsy, which is a lot better than the current board I'm using.
Even
So
better.
apologies to the current board I'm using. The construction on this is a lot better, and I've noticed with my previous prototypes that the USB connector falls off. So the next circuit boards that I'm getting in the mail in about 5 days will have this on it. So excited to try out this one as well.
Yeah, you can try Bluetooth. You can do like a BLE keyboard. All good stuff.
Yes.
All right.
Awesome.
Yeah, that'll be different tiers of the Kickstarter.
That's right.
All right, thank you so much,
some free marketing.
Travis,
Thanks,
and
Travis.
thanks for telling your story, because I think a lot of people, they learn something and they want to do something and give back, and you did. So thanks for sharing that.
Oh, awesome. Thank you. Take care.
All right.
Alrighty. Next up, Jeremy.
Hey, Jeremy.
What you got going on? Hey, Jeremy. I don't know if Jeremy can hear us.
Jeremy. Hello.
Hey, Jeremy,
Hi.
we're here.
Hey, how's it going?
Good.
Hey.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah, we can hear you.
Show your thing.
Yep. Big delay. So anyway, everybody's seen the Trellis M4 board, and I wanted to scale up to something a little bit bigger. So I improved the Hella Unce board by putting neo trellises around a Trellis M4 in the back. So it's got the thin sandwich approach case, like the Trellis M4 device. I gave up the wireless battery control or wireless battery operation to get the thin case, but it works pretty good.
Awesome.
All right. So since there's a delay, we're
I'm just trying to sort of approach an open source push device that Ableton makes, kind of.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Jeremy. In about a few seconds, you'll get us saying, "Yay, good work!" Keep coming back to the show and tell.
So Jeremy's on the moon. It just takes time for our messages to.
That's cool. All right. Thanks so much, Jeremy.
Awesome.
All right. Next up, we're going to go to Tinkering Tech, and then we're going to wrap up with.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Hey, Tinkering Tech.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Hey, so I've been working on some FM radio stuff. So I decided to start working on some accessories, like stem accessories, especially for the MagTag. I haven't got the MagTag yet. I'm actually waiting for it to come back in stock. So I got one of these Metro ESP32 S2s, and I made a little FM radio board that's stemma QT capable. So the idea there is to have an FM radio for the MagTag. You can put a little speaker on it and hang it on your fridge if you want to listen to radio.
That's a good idea.
So I actually, I'm going to get a little speaker that you guys have in the store. I can't remember what it's called, but it's a tiny one. So I'm going to prototype it, try and bake it all into one board, and prototype it with the MagTag. The idea is to use Adafruit I/O to change channels and things like that, since you won't have any other way to do it. Maybe you could do it on the MagTag itself since it has buttons, but that's one of the connectivity ideas that I have for that project.
Yeah, it's a smart idea because like once you're on the channel, you leave it there. So why waste power or anything on the display? It could just hang out on the refrigerator.
Exactly, and I know streaming audio is kind of tough with the ESP32S2, so I thought maybe having a native radio is an easy way to do it. One real quick, I want to thank you guys for promoting my crowd supply campaign. I actually got funded, got 24 hours left. So that's for these kits that I talked about, and you guys actually showed in your Ask an Engineer. So I appreciate that. Thank you for that. And now the work begins.
Yeah, this is when people say, what's so good about open source? And we're just did an interview. There's an ecosystem and a community that we all create together. And this is what it looks like. So
open source. And it's also my way of giving back to the community.
Yeah.
You guys have helped me the year. So thank you.
All right. Thank you. All right, Mark, play us out. What you got going on this week?
Sure. Well, real life has got in the way of a lot of time, but I just finished starting to soldering all of these NeoPixels.
Oh, cool.
I've decided I wanted to put up a display for Christmas, seeing all the lights. I still have about these many pixels again to add on to this matrix. Yeah, this has been extremely easy outside of the fact that I don't know how to solder very well.
You will see.
And I've got a couple other components that I want to add for some more light. And hopefully by the next week, I can have this up and show off the finished product.
Right on.
All right, good work. Looks great. You can check out Don Pedro's sign when they publish it. You can use some of their code too.
I've been looking at that, and the clips that he was using too would be just perfect.
If you play Christmas music while you solder, you'll either use that to help, your pace, or you'll be like, I hate Christmas music, let me get this over with, and you'll solder faster. But one of those two things will happen.
Yeah, that's probably really true. And usually it just ends up with me burning myself. But at least this much is working, and I haven't destroyed any strips yet, which I'm kind of surprised about.
They're kind of durable. All right.
All right. Thank you so much,
Thank you,
Mark. I'll see you next week or the week after whenever you're done soldering. Thanks for coming by this week.
Perfect timing to everybody.
Yep. Thank you so much, everybody. That was Show and Tell. We're here every single week, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Thanks for making this the best half an hour of our week every single week. We'll see everybody on Ask an Engineer, which starts in about a minute or so.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye-bye.